You are listening to The Michael Batson Show. Mazi Smith, he went to the Cowboys, 26th overall. And, McCarthy and Jerry Jones were really high on this guy. They said he was a right fit. Why do you think this is a good place for him to start in the NFL? And why do the Cowboys need him?
Yeah, it's a great question because apparently, I think it's been since 1991 that the Cowboys have drafted a defensive tackle in the first round. For Michigan, it had been Mazi is their first-round defensive tackle since Kevin Brooks in 1985, also went to the Cowboys. So this is uncharacteristic from not only Michigan lately, but also the Cowboys drafting an interior defensive lineman and watching their press conference with Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy and all those guys. It's basically the realization that they need to stop the run. They have a great pass rush unit led by Micah Parsons there, a former Penn State linebacker who's just been all-world since coming into the NFL. But they ranked 22nd in the NFL last year against the run. So Mazi Smith, he's built like a brick wall. He is an absolute house, and I think he can help them stop the run. Mazi said that's his job number one, which they've told him that they want him to do, and then job number two is to come along as a pass rusher himself. I think that's where you can really create value for yourself in the NFL. And I think Mazi can get there. I mean, he didn't do it a ton at Michigan, but I think that upside is there, and that's why he went so high. And I think it's just going to be a really good fit there.
Yeah, and you talked about how they needed some pass rush and they needed to stop the run. The Cowboys were actually good. They were 8th best in, I'd say, the NFL in stopping the pass, but they were only 22nd in the run. They also didn't sack the quarterback much. You're getting a guy who has height, who has size, good kid also, but can stop the run too. I thought that was a really good pick by McCarthy and a Cowboys team that doesn't usually pick Michigan Wolverines. They picked another one in the second round, Luke Schoonmaker. Some had him as little too high. Some wanted Darnell Washington from Georgia. Some said that filling in for Dalton Schultz, he was too unathletic. He wasn't, a good blocker. What would you say to the critics that you follow him all year since he was a young kid? How would you get back to them by that point of saying, oh, this wasn't a good draft pick?
Yeah, I mean, I could maybe get on board with the notion that Dallas reached a little bit in getting Luke Schoonmaker, but I think they liked what they saw. And I think Schooney deserves to be picked in the second round or where he did. I think he was pretty underrated at Michigan for a couple of reasons. One, it really took him a while to get his opportunity. Michigan's had a pretty loaded tight end room. During the course of his career, he stays 5 years. He's 24 years old. He's really waited his turn. In this last season, I mean, he really broke out. We saw a little bit more of what he could do in 2021. But this last year, when he was healthy, he was the guy at that position. I think he is better at catching the ball over the middle and running with the ball than a lot of people give him credit for. 198 of his 397 receiving yards last year came after the catch, and that's a pretty good ratio. So I think he's got upside as a pass catcher. Maybe needs to get a little bit stronger, but I mean, we saw what he can do as a run blocker. He might be a little underrated in that aspect too. So I'm going to be rooting for Schooney. And then another stat that I dug up on that pick was, I believe, 6th in the NFL is where Dallas ranked in tight end targets. They've got a couple other former Big Ten guys there, Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot, and also Sean McCune is on the roster, former Michigan tight end. They're going to use all those guys. And, Schooney is going to have a pretty big role, and they're going to rotate. But I think that he could have a really nice career and, be in the NFL. I think Grant Newsom said it last year. Schooney's going to play in the NFL for 10 years.
No smut on my rap last time that I checked. I was selling zones in the set. Make $250,000, no sweat last time that I checked. I'm the streets voice out west. Legendary self-made progress last time that I checked. First you get the money, then respect, then the power and the hoes come next. Last time that I checked. I've been self-made from the dribble. I was big